Hello, composition and rhetoric class. It is Monday, and so today we're going to go through some notes about how the differences between compliance and deception. If you have any questions, we're going to Zoom today at 12:30, so you guys can ask me questions and make sure that you're taking notes on this and watch the videos I sent out to you guys for analyzing characters, because that's going to be part of what you do tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll be analyzing a character. You're going to tell the difference between compliance and deception in a paragraph, and then you'll also write a paragraph on how the character you chose has been either deceived or complied to this point in the story, or if you think that they have it all. So remember back to last week, compliance, you were trying to get somebody to change their behavior, not just their way of thought. So going with the this is to do with compliance in the sense of conformity, so wanting to give in to the situation and comply and change behavior to fit in with a crowd. So some of those crowds that people try to fit into are gender, peer pressure, personality, and culture. So you probably heard the term birds of a feather flock together. You probably heard those terms before, and that's like an old saying, but basically what it means is people that are very similar tend to like each other more, so that's usually the people that they sit with. And you can almost see this, not maybe at your school, but at bigger schools, you can walk into a cafeteria and kind of see like, oh, those are the jocks sitting together, those are I sat with the Bible study kids in lunch, so like that's the Bible study group, and there was a group of football players that they always sat together, the band kids sat together, the nursing students typically sat together. And it was kind of funny because I kind of fit into all those categories when I was in high school, but I particularly liked the Bible study group best. So that's the group that I sat with because they were the most like me. So even though there might be several groups that you could say like, oh, I see myself being a part of this group, or I see myself being a part of that group, the one that you feel the most like is probably the group that you'll gravitate towards the most, even though you guys are pretty much similar anyway. So also culture. So if you go off to another country, I've heard this said before that when you go off to another country and you like find another Christian in a place that's not a Christian, like those little issues that's not dogma issues, those little issues of whether or not we should only sing hymns or you should only be baptized by being dunked or being water poured over your head, like things that people discuss in theology that aren't really that important, are minimized very much so in another country where there are no other Christians, because you guys are just so happy you found somebody else as a Christian. Same way if you went to another country and you, for instance, I went to Miami, which is not another country, but there's a lot of other cultures in Miami. And so when I went to Miami, we were trying to find South Beach. My family and I were trying to find South Beach. And we went up to people who stereotypically you would have probably thought that they spoke English versus the other groups that did not look like they spoke English, and they still didn't speak English. So we were very excited when we found somebody that spoke English. So culture makes you compliant, and when you look at the giver, that's very obvious that everybody in the culture is in agreement for following these rules, whether that's good or bad. Okay, so keep up with that. Remember compliance, so they still have, it's still persuasion because they still have the choice. If they're not coercing them through violence, they're not threatening to like harm you if you know. And in the giver, think about it. Are they threatening to harm them? We don't know yet. Keep that thought in the mind. So my Nana used to tell me an old little like adage, I guess, and it was, oh, what a, I have to think about it. Oh, what a tangled web we weave, and first we practice to deceive. And so this kind of goes into deception. And obviously, some people lie to benefit other people, and some people lie to affiliate with others, and they might say, oh, I know so and so, but you really don't. Some people lie to avoid invasion of privacy, like if they ask you like, oh, do you like so and so, and they're like, no, just because they don't want somebody to know that they really do. They might lie to appear better. That's one of the options. So you might lie and seem like oh, that somebody might say, oh, I really struggle with lying, for instance, and you might say, oh, I don't. But really, you do. You're just lying to cover it up. That probably happens a lot more. I like Bible studies and stuff than you guys would think it did. Lying to protect yourself. Now, I'm sure that none of you have ever done this. That you've broken something, or you lost something, or you started a fight with your sibling, and you said, oh, they did it, and like pointed out your sibling. And then lying to benefit yourself. So how many of you are, I'm sure you guys have heard of lying on a resume. You're not supposed to do that, but lying to benefit yourself, that would be an option. And lying to harm somebody else. Now that one's really bad. That's definitely bad. But those are all seen in the givers. And so you guys just kind of have to keep that in mind. So a difference between necessarily like trying to get somebody to comply and deceive is a compliance. You can still tell somebody the truth and still want them to change. You can just be upfront about it and say, these are the rules, this is my standard, and this is how I want you to act, and this is why you should join that bandwagon. And a lot of times that seems like it would be more beneficial, obviously. But when you lie, you're giving somebody a false truth to follow. So it's not really, you're giving somebody what might sound good, but it's not real, so it doesn't matter what it sounds like. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I was trying to get to my page here. Oh, it gives the example of the Machiavellism. The Machiavellian personality is not interested in impersonal relationships, manipulates others for selfish purposes, and has little sense of self-morality. I don't know, you guys have probably never read the book Machiavelli, but it was like this guy that just, basically it gave the idea of, I would rather be respected than liked, and so that's where that kind of came from. And so that's kind of, they're called the wool pullers. So it's kind of this idea of, I'm going to deceive you to make you, it's a false sense of compliance. Like you're making somebody do what you say, but what you're saying to them as the reason why isn't true, which we will see in the giver. So just hold on to that thought. And what makes a liar persuasive? Previous research suggests that some people are better at pulling the wool over others' eyes than others. For instance, research by Bond and DiPaolo and Levine and his colleagues indicates that while some people are especially transparent, leaking the fact that they are lying, others have honest demeanor and consequently are typically seen as being truthful when their addition to characteristics of the liar being told in a deceptive situation. So sometimes people do just come out and say like, oh, I was lying. But they're saying here that it's harder for people that are seen as innocent to be caught in a lie. I'll kind of give an example about myself. We played, when I was at an RA retreat one time, we played Mafia, the game Mafia, where everybody closes their eyes and they're like, oh, who would you like to kill? Who would you like to do this to? And you usually play it with 2 people being the Mafia or 3 people, and I killed off another Mafia member. I don't remember how that happened, but I did. And like at the end, they were like, who did this? And it was me. And they were like, we would have never thought it was you. Because that's just not my personality at all, but I just kind of played along with it. And then the next time I just decided I'd just kill myself off the game because I didn't like that game. I always felt bad being like, I'll kill that person off. That was not for me. But that's just kind of an example or a life example. So watch the videos I sent you guys. One of them's on Frozen, so sorry boys, but you'll just have to kind of hang tough through it. I thought it gave really good examples, and it was kind of cute, so I sent it to you guys, even though I'm sure the boys won't love that. And yeah, we'll talk on Zoom at 2:30. 2, not 2:30. 2. No, that's not right. 12:30. We will talk at 12:30. Sorry, I get you guys mixed up with my creative writing class. And then we'll pray then. That's when we're going to do our prayers, since that way you don't have to sit and watch me pray, because I liked doing that when I didn't know if I was going to have a chance to pray over you guys, but now that we do, I feel like that's much better than having to watch me pray, and like you guys kind of join me, and like wherever you're at, it's kind of awkward maybe. So anyway, alright, I'll see you guys then. 12:30.